Sri Ramana Gita, Chapter 7, Self-Enquiry. This 7th chapter records the excellent conversation between Kashini of Bharadwaja line and Acharya Ramana. Kashini said, "What constitutes self-enquiry? What is its utility? Can better results be achieved through other methods?" Bhagavan Ramana said, "The I thought is said to be the sum total of all thoughts. Inquire into the source of this I thought." This is self-enquiry and not the critical study of the scriptures. When the source is searched, the ego gets merged in it. The self alone remains in all its perfection and fullness when the ego, which is its reflection, merges in it. The result of self-enquiry is the cure for all sorrows. It is the highest of all results. There is nothing greater than this. Marvelous occult powers are possible through practices other than self-enquiry. But even if one secures such powers, ultimately, self-enquiry alone gives liberation. Kashini said, "Who is considered fit for self-enquiry? Can one know his own fitness?" Bhagavan Ramana said, "He whose mind has been purified by spiritual practices or by accumulated merit of past lives, and who has distaste for the body and the sense objects, is fit for such enquiry. One who feels utter distaste when his mind has to move among sense objects, and who is conscious of the transitoriness of the body, is said to be a competent one for self-enquiry. By the marks of a sense of transitoriness of the body, and by detachment to sense objects, one's fitness for self-enquiry can be known." Kashini said, "For the one who is ripe for self-enquiry by his discrimination and non-attachment, practices such as prayers at stated times, meditation, maintaining the sacred fire, worship of God, devotional singing, pilgrimage, sacrifice, charity, austerities, and so on, are these useful, or are they a mere waste of time?" Bhagavan Ramana said, "For competent beginners with waning attachments, all these actions make the mind increasingly pure. Virtuous activity of body, speech, and mind destroys the opposite activity of the body, speech, and mind. Activity of mature masters with absolutely pure minds benefits the world. The mature masters do not engage in actions out of fear of spiritual injunctions. Their actions are for welfare of others and teaching others. Meritorious actions done without attachment and without a sense of difference do not obstruct self-enquiry. Failure to perform prescribed action is not sinful for the wise, for self-enquiry itself is the most meritorious and the most purifying. The wise appear to fall into two categories: those who renounce action for solitary communion, and those engaged in action for the welfare of others." Kashini said, "Bhagavan, please explain if there are paths to liberation other than self-enquiry. Are these paths the same or different?" Bhagavan Ramana said, "Other paths strive to attain something. Self-enquiry seeks the one who makes the effort. The first one takes longer, but in the end, the self is known." Meditation on a single thought makes the mind one-pointed, and such one-pointedness leads to self-abidance. The one who meditates attains the self without being aware of it. The enquirer consciously loses himself in the self. The excellent object of meditation, be it God or a sacred one, merges in the end in the great fire of the self. The goal of the meditative path and self-enquiry is one. The former reaches stillness through contemplation, and the latter through knowledge.